I would love one.
Yes, we definitely need a prayer. So
who can we get a prayer from?
I don't know. About Anon.
Let's do it.
Yeah. Pi, you want to lead us in prayer?
I heard you say you need a little bit of Jesus, and I'm your man for that one. Absolutely.
All right.
First of all, love the intro. It got all sciencey and then like rockets and stuff. Awesome. If you could just join me for a moment. Join me with a moment for prayer. Heavenly Father, we thank you for this chance to gather together on a new journey, even with the old platforms, knowing that we can move on to something bigger and greater to glorify you. We thank you for the opportunities and the chances to realize that imperfection can glorify your perfection. We appreciate very much and very thankful for the many imperfections in which we are faced with to appreciate your glory and the perfectness in which you offer. We ask that you guide, guard, and provide for us every day, and to help Joan and Spiff on this new journey to expand your truth and your glory to the world. In Jesus' most holy and precious name, we thank you with this prayer. Amen.
Amen.
Amen. Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, it's been a day. It's definitely been a day.
But it's time to make it quite a night. So let's do that.
I know you guys are all with us. So until further notice, you are our passengers on this little adventure. JoanUp, where are we going?
Well, let's talk about some headlines first. What do you think?
Please put your tray table in the upright position.
Yes, that's it.
And Pi will be.
He's gonna join us tonight for some extra commentary, just for fun, just to make
mostly
it
just comedic relief.
Yes, that too. You know, we found out today that the CEO of Hasbro has died.
So now
he's now officially Hadbro. He's Hadbro. And if I remember correctly, Hasbro was the one who made the doll with the little button between the legs where you could push it and it would laugh. It would giggle.
It wouldn't laugh. It would joyfully giggle, which is
joyfully giggle. Yes.
Yeah.
And the fact that they had a kung fu grip was rather helpful.
Yes. Yes.
I don't know.
So yeah. I don't know. But yeah, so we've got that. And William Shatner finally actually went into space.
I do want to talk about William Shatner going into space because I believe that he was a Trump supporter, wasn't he?
Don't know for sure.
Pi, do you know?
No. I just want to know if he dropped the captain's log while he was up there.
I hope so. I hope he can remember numbers and stuff. But I'd say I'm like 70% positive that he voted for Trump, at least in 2016. And for him to be all buddy-buddy with Bezos on this it's kind of like a glitch in the matrix for me. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
So what's to say that, the Earth really isn't flat after all?
Maybe the fact that every other planet is round. I mean, you could just see that.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's all on a backdrop, from what I hear. It's all, it's all 2D Captain anyway. We're all talking about getting to 5D, but we haven't actually achieved 3D yet, if you think about it.
I think we just haven't gotten to 4D.
Nobody ever talks about 4D. Isn't that weird?
Yeah, you got to jump from 3D. But
getting these messages. What's going on here? Is my screen not showing?
Nope.
All I see is my face. I don't know.
All we see
That
is
may
your
just be
Spiff
my
Force
face.
Live like button.
I'm plagued today. I am plagued. See, I'm going to disable camera. Now all I see is JoanUp. I'm going to enable camera. And a big hello. Am I on there now?
There you are.
Okay. Awesome. So,
So
I do exist.
So yeah, it was interesting that he is second to Bezos to go into space, and he had a little interview afterwards where he was just like, everybody should do this, every man and woman on this planet should do this kind of thing. He said,
Really?
the thing.
Do we have a clip?
Mm-hmm.
Right.
I sent you one. I did
Because
send you one.
every man and woman have.
It's an OBS right now.
Wait. Pi's trying to talk.
Sorry, I'm used to it. So, because every man and woman on Earth has how many millions of dollars it takes to get up there for 10 seconds and then come back down. Yeah, that's really in touch with reality.
But why William Shatner? That was kind of weird.
Because he was the first Star Trek commander, I guess, of the Enterprise. They do these big steps when they think that they're like catching the ear of, I don't know, catching the ear of people, being like, ooh, who should we send into space? Well, William Shatner. I mean, he was, Captain Kirk.
Shatner is not a Trump fan. On November 9th of 2016, he tweeted, "Let's face the facts. The world has changed today as we wake up to an unimaginable outcome." And then he did like this shock face, crying face. So he was not happy about Trump.
So him and Lieutenant Sulu are best buddies, obviously.
In fact, he's Canadian by birth and was one of a few notable absences when back in September. Oh, no, wait. Well, this is confusing. Yeah. Anyway, it says he, the cast and crew of Star Trek's past and present signed an open letter endorsing Hillary Clinton, claiming that Trump stood against the show's message of inclusion. That, of course, was from the Daily Beast. So who knows? But,
I only get
he did tweet that. He did tweet that.
I only get my headlines from the Daily Beast, by the way.
All right. So,
yeah,
let's look at some other headlines here. So we had a Catholic archbishop come out. Let's see. His name is. It's very close to Bergoglio, but it's not. It's like Borglio. And he came out and said that Catholic troops can refuse the COVID vaccine. No one should be forced to receive a COVID-19 vaccine if it would violate the sanctity of his or her conscience. His name is Broglio. So that
he's a pretty big bro.
What?
I say he's a pretty big bro. In the Glowio
bro
fashion. Sorry, I'm trying to get to our show notes right now.
Broglio. He's the archbishop for the military services. That's his gig.
Bro.
So he's trying to he's trying to support the service members who are seeking religious exemptions. So
now, if I remember correctly,
that's a good move.
Archbishop Bigley, he was actually for the military mandates initially, and then people came out and they were like, "Oh, so you're saying that they shouldn't be able to have religious exemptions if it goes against his conscience?" And then he kind of doubled back and was like, "Oh, no, like we still have to follow the tenets of our faith, but mandating medical experimentation, especially uses the fetal cells that it does, kind of goes against all of that. So have what you will, one scarlet after another."
Yes, you are correct on that. He's previously had supported Biden's mandatory vax order. He changed his mind, I guess.
Or did
he
they
still
change
encourages Yeah, he still encourages followers and troops to get vaccinated, but he's like, it's okay if you don't.
Well, all I can think of is that this Broglio dude is not really a
Broglio.
Broglio.
Broglio. Yeah.
I mean, after all, I'm not.
Well, he was appointed by Benedict in 2007.
Well, talking about good bros, let's go into our first topic, because it's all about being a bro and having hospitals homicide you, right?
Yeah.
That's what friends are for.
That's what friends are for. So yeah, we have a lot of talk these days about, well, hospitals not only going against the Hippocratic Oath or, really just being common sense people and just being like, you know what, we're going to kill you. For instance, a Cleveland man over in Ohio was just taken off the transplant list, not because he wasn't vaccinated, but because his donor wasn't vaccinated. If you think that's bad enough, well, an entire family in Indiana, including 2 children, ages 4 and 5, were given the adult vaccination from Pfizer when they had asked only for a flu shot. So this
was at a Walgreens, by the way.
Yeah, Walgreens. It wasn't at the same hospital. But I want to point out that I'm okay with like one mistake, but there are several pharmacy malpractice mistakes happening in this short period of time. And
well, I think it's important to mention that this family with the 4 and 5-year-old, they have now been taken to a pediatric cardiologist who said that they are both showing signs of heart issues. So this isn't just young men who are having these issues. This 4 and this 5-year-old have heart issues from apparently from getting this shot. So
how long in between did they go to get the shot and realize, my near toddler is having heart palpitations? How long was that?
Well, it happened October 4th. It happened October 4th, so it hasn't been long.
Yeah, less than a week. Or maybe more than a week, I don't know.
Yeah.
Sorry, guys. I've not been up on the news too much. We're just playing on it.
You're not supposed to say that.
Well, hey, man, I'm here to be genuine.
Funny? Okay.
And funny.
Yeah.
Think about what the parents think, right? Like they're like, oh, we got to get our kids to jab, and now all of a sudden they're going to be going on through all these pharmaceutical things because their kids' hearts swelling and they're killing their children 4 or 5 years old, and all because they wanted to conform to whatever the mainstream media pushes down their throat is the right thing. That's the mantra of this movement is do the right thing. Do the right thing.
Well, they thought they were just getting the flu shot. They were supposed to be getting the flu shot, and they jabbed them.
But even still, who's to say that they weren't being, good little citizens and, listening to everything that Fauci said, and maybe they had plans to inject
to jab them
themselves.
Once it became available. Yeah.
But the thing is that there's another report of a girl, I don't remember which state, but a girl who got jabbed by Walgreens again.
Yes.
Which I hate saying because I love Walgreens, but Walgreens again, getting jabbed by the Pfizer fake community because it's not actually being produced, but by the Pfizer jab 6 times when she just went in to get a flu shot.
6 times.
Like,
how do you get jabbed 6 times? Did she think she was getting boosters or something?
No, just one after another. Oh, that one didn't work. Try this one.
Well, I mean, when I was a kid, like for some reason, and I only remember this now, and I had to ask my mom, but she was like, "Yeah, you know, when you were young, you had allergies, so we had to take you in every single week to get allergy shots." I have never heard anybody talk about allergy shots, but I got allergy shots once a week for like a year, and they would not get it on like in the right blood area. They would hit it and be like, "Oh, I'm sorry, I know that sucks, but we're gonna have to try again."
Wow,
this is insane.
Yeah.
Like,
so this
just shoot me up with Benadryl, make me go to sleep.
There's that.
Benadryl's okay.
Yeah. So this woman, Victoria Olivier, brought her 4-year-old daughter to get the flu vaccine to a Walgreens in Baltimore, where a pharmacist mistakenly administered her an adult dose of the Pfizer COVID-19 vaccine. And I love this. This was what the spokesperson from Walgreens said in an email. "We are glad to hear that the child is doing well and hope that she eventually received her flu vaccine." Yeah.
What kind of world are we living in right here? Like,
Well,
we're
it's
glad
one
that
thing.
she received it, but
It's one thing to go into a pharmacy and be like, "Oh, I'd like some athlete foot cream," and they give you jock itch cream or something instead, or like hemorrhoid cream or whatever. But I mean, this is a serious issue.
Yeah.
And
It's very
a lot of
serious.
these articles are being slated towards Walgreens, so you have to kind of focus on that as well. Like, why is every source saying Walgreens and Pfizer is the ones that are messing up? But I mean,
Yeah.
Maybe you should start questioning the
well,
qualifications of your local pharmacist at Walgreens.
Yeah.
Well,
Well, here's a non-Walgreens one. An 8-year-old boy in Grand Prairie, Texas. Okay, so his dad decided they had like a county website where you sign up to be able to get the vax. And this kid's 8 years old. His dad goes in and puts his son's name in too. I guess he didn't know, how old you had to be. And his son made it in and got the little number. So he goes to this drive-up vaccine station, and they just reach in and jab the 8-year-old boy. And then they're all trying to blame each other. They're like, "Oh, well, he had the number, so I figured I could do it." And then they're blaming the county, and nobody's taking responsibility for it. He got a shake.
Right.
He got the shakes.
Probably got neurological shakes.
Yes, that's what I meant.
I know about
Yep.
that.
Anyway,
How long can this last for?
how long? What?
How long can this last for? How long can we
I don't
literally
know.
go on believing complete lies like this?
Well, I think some people just
Incredible.
they don't want to see the truth, so it doesn't matter if it's in the news or not.
But
They're not looking for it. The news says.
The news says. The news.
That's what the news says. So, we have nothing else but to trust what they say. Where are we?
But we do have some people who have been vaxxed, who realize the grave errors of their mistakes, and they're speaking out now.
Right?
Right?
Who was the pop artist that stepped up and was like, "My cousin's balls swelled up and he became impotent"?
Oh, yeah. We've got her, whatever her name is. I don't follow this
Kylie.
stuff.
I want to, it's not Kylie. Nicki Minaj.
Yeah.
I always
Well,
want to say
we've got
Kylie Minogue, but that's
we've got Eric Clapton, who had adverse reactions and is now speaking out loudly, and even I think
singing out loudly.
Funding
Singing out loudly. He's got
Singing out
a
loudly.
he's got a new
Is he an
single out.
anti-vax song? Okay.
It's called the Anti-Vax Song. It's called White Room No Vax. It's a great song.
And then, mark my words.
I was thinking you were going to talk about Mark Zuckerberg. I could be wrong.
Is it just me, or does Mark Zuckerberg look like the guy in the zombie movie that was
Spiff, did you
bit?
get up with the doctor who's coming out? Oh man,
He does look like the
like
guy in the zombie movies who has been bitten and is trying to hide it from everyone.
Right. Like,
Absolutely. But no, there is a California doctor who actually has been vaxxed, and she is now a whistleblower because she works in the ICU, and she is now speaking out about how many terrible things, laugh all you want, JoanUp, but how many terrible things she is seeing in the in her workplace. She has contacted, let's see, she's contacted the FDA, the CDC, and also lawyers agencies and told them about this, and nobody's replied to her, surprisingly. This is what I find is really interesting, because people who are vaxxed, who are normally don't go around saying, "Oh, well, you know, we need to have equal rights for the unvaxxed." Instead, they are, as we normally hear them, they're normally like, "Hey, you need to get jabbed or you need to die right now, along with your family members." So I think this is very, very important and very big, because we have someone who has already been vaxxed, who is more than likely a member of the liberal commie left, who is now speaking out for everybody who is unvaxxed.
You know, I just
Thoughts?
want to point out that this is like a self-defeating argument, right? The vax, they're like, oh, the unvaxxed, they should just die. Okay, I won't get the vaccine then.
Yeah,
Like, give me a freaking break.
We'll die on our own terms, right?
Well, apparently, I'm going to kill them because I'm unvaccinated, because though they need to be protected from the unprotected and forced to be taking the protection that didn't protect the protected to begin with.
Yeah,
I think I said
but
that.
yeah,
I'm following you.
something like that.
Some people aren't,
we just
but
had a
I am.
report out of Israel that like 96% of the people who are hospitalized for COVID right now are vaccinated.
How many?
Normally, that would be a good statistic. 96%.
They're all.
Like, I didn't even get
no,
grades
I'm
that
sorry. I meant they are vaccinated. I said that backwards. Totally screwed that up. 96% are vaccinated who are sick with COVID in the hospital right now.
Oh, you said it right.
Oh, did I? I thought I said unvaccinated. They're vaccinated. Yeah. I missed part of that conversation because my earpiece went
So,
dead.
like the variants, right? The variants are all coming out of the vaccinated. But the big issue is like the CDC, they changed their numbers, because at first they were showing like 100% of the variants are coming from vaccinated. And then they realized that doesn't look good for their narrative. So they go up and they change it, right? And they say, well, if you haven't had booster shots and your second shot or your third shot, then that's still considered unvaccinated. So your person gets their first shot, has an adverse reaction. They call it a breakthrough case, which is actually the Delta variant. And then the next thing you know, they're like, oh, an unvaccinated person died of heart swelling in the hospital caused by COVID. When really they just died after the first dose of the vaccine, you know, like 4-year-olds and 5-year-olds and whatever else. That's why they're like, oh, kids are getting it. Why? Because parents are taking their kids to get this crap. But who am I? Just some anonymous face.
Well, not just who are you? Like, there's got to be a breaking point, and I want to see with what I am seeing right now that we are getting close to that breaking point. That's why I felt like, you know, kind of highlighting people who are actually on the other, who should be on the other side, actually now speaking up and getting the same fucking treatment that we all have been, is just more stuff on the fire.
These are all like the modern day Salem witch trials, How did you get through this without being vaccinated? You're a witch. Conspiracy theorist. You think different than we do. I think George Orwell brought up the idea of dangerous thoughts. And I think honestly that we're there, Like, I'm allowed to think on my own. Oh, how dare you?
Yeah, no doubt about that.
I think that it's going to be the people who are able to think on their own are going to be the ones who save the world, not just this republic, but this world. Can we talk about sick outs? Because when I was a kid, I don't know why, but I loved going to the nurse's office at school and playing like I was sick. I don't know why. It was just one of my things. When I want to play a hooky or anything, but I was just like, yeah, I'm sick. I just want it finally dawned on me that I had a crush on our high school nurse. So I feel like all of these Southwest pilots might have a crush on their corporate nurses. Fight me on this.
That's one take. I think they just don't want to get the jab. That's my thought.
I mean, if they had a crop, that's got to be one heck of a prostate exam. So I love the photo that I saw of the "Don't Tread on Me" flag hanging out of the Southwest Airlines window. And I love how the news tried to spin this as a weather-related event, because it was raining flags of freedom, apparently. So God bless our Southwest pilots, and they don't want to get it, then by God, don't get it, because you can't fly across the country if, any of our major airlines shut down. So,
well, and apparently the weather was only affecting the Southwest flights because I guess their airplanes are made out of like something that melts in the rain, and it wasn't affecting any of the flights. It was amazing. It was quite a miracle. But yeah, just the way that they tried to spin it, and like we wouldn't figure that out.
Right, got to hit the pockets though, right? You can't transport goods. They can't, move their Amazon goods all across the United States and all the other crap that they fly. Plus people, of course. Major corporations can't get, Mr. Jim Smith to his conference meeting in Winnebago. So it's, that right there is a huge up for our movement if they can actually stand their ground and not.
So I find it funny. I find it funny that pretty much in the same couple of days that 1,000 flights from Southwest were canceled because of inclement weather that never happened, that Joe Biden comes out with evidently his first big win. He is going to get a bunch of major carriers to work 24/7 so that we don't have to worry about the holiday rush. That was his big thing today. He was like, by the way, I decided that, we're going to get Walmart and UPS and FedEx all in the same bubble, and we're going to make sure that everybody works in these corporations 24/7 until the end of the year, so we can deal with the holiday rush. And suddenly he seems like he is the
big savior. He's on our side.
He's the savior. Yeah.
I wonder if Santa Claus got vaccinated.
Santa Claus actually created the vaccinations. Not many people know that.
I think he had the elves working on him. Yeah.
Probably. Fauci's one of them. You just look at him and tell.
Fauci.
Yes.
Fauci's a gremlin.
He's an elf, for sure.
He's a gremlin.
But you know, when it comes to the whole shopping holiday thing, the way things are going with them not being allowed to bring everything in through the ports, I mean, you know, that whole lie we've got going on.
On the port thing, I've heard that many of them have been told that they have to wait at least a month before they're going to be allowed to come in. And as the weather, did you see the weather map whenever the Southwest said all inclement weather canceled all these flights? There was like not even a drop of rain over the U.S. Maybe 3 spots across the entire country had just a light drizzle. So people aren't dumb. They'll see that, you know, and obviously they can see through the narrative because there's protests. And they said weather and staffing. So there was maybe 1 flight canceled because of weather. And the rest of them were like, screw it, I'm not taking the jab and you can't make me. Even the military came out and said that a person in the military, came out and said that they think that the fighter pilots should not be allowed to be jabbed because they're having heart problems when in flying fighter jets. You know, they're having issues where their heart is swelling quicker because of the G forces, right? It weakens their heart and they pass out and then they crash into buildings. Oh, what did we just see recently? A couple military airplanes go crashing into buildings, and all of a sudden this neuro doctor comes out in the military and says, maybe we should rethink this because it's messing up our pilots. You know, food for thought.
Well, yeah, and that's the thing. These pilots, just, you know, even Southwest or whatever commercial airlines, they you know, they know that this clotting is an issue. I mean, that's just been out there. And they also know that if that happens to them, they're grounded. They just ended their career because they're not going to be allowed to fly anymore. So, you know, they don't want to do this. And then we've got DeSantis. DeSantis has said, as far as the ports go, bring them on down here. We've got the whole Gulf Coast down there with all of those red states. We just need to make that the new port of choice, where everybody just comes down there, and we can change it all.
So I'm going to wait for the article to come out to say Texas infringed upon Alabama's airspace today. Unvaccinated people flying in the air.
It wouldn't be Alabama. It would be more like, I don't know, what's the nearest blue state to Texas? New Mexico. Does New Mexico even have a coastline?
No.
I don't think it does.
I think the Rio Grande is about their only coastline.
That's a pretty big coast right there. But
yeah,
you know,
I don't think we're gonna be
Southwest. I do want to say the Southwest CEO went on of all great newsworthy sites, went on George Stephanopoulos' show last night and told the world, actually, no, they had no plans on nixing anybody who didn't want to get the jab. That's preposterous.
Yeah. Okay. So we've got Abbott coming in and doing his executive order saying that nobody, no private businesses, nobody can mandate for their employees that they have to get the vaccine. But it's also interesting. What's that?
Sorry, he said any entity, right?
Yeah, he said no businesses at all can do that. Nobody can do that. But the whole thing with the Biden mandate is that's been nothing but a press conference so far. He's trying to get OSHA to enact this new rule, and it's not happening. I mean, it's been like 8 weeks or something since that Biden press conference saying that, and all these businesses are jumping up and saying, you got to get the vax by this date, when this hasn't even gone into effect yet. It hasn't even gone into force. So, you've got employees freaking out. You know, it's likely that these Southwest pilots were like, you know what, I've got to get this jab by this date and I'm not going to do it. So I'm just going to take all my sick time, all my vacation time, everything I can before that date. You know, they could have, I mean, they may not have just called in sick. They may have been using their sick time that they're going to lose if they don't get the jab. But like I said, it hasn't gone into force yet. I mean, nothing's happened. It's just, as usual, Biden talking and nothing really happening.
Yeah, OSHA hasn't even put out any regulations towards companies yet. So a lot of companies are saying, listen, we have this as kind of, we have this mandate that we've heard about, and employees are questioning, and a lot of the answers that employers are giving is that they really don't know what the guidelines are going to be. But as soon as they find them out, the biggest one they know is that it was 100 employees or less, and so or more, excuse me, 100 employees or more, then they'd be mandated. So, a lot of companies out there, they really need to just split themselves up. If they don't want to force their employees to do it, then, set up smaller businesses and have like one large conglomerate over the top of them.
Yeah, just have like an umbrella company that's basically just made up of your executives, and then you just got a bunch of little.
Now, I might get a little bit of kickback from this, but I got to give a lot of props to Dr. Pepper. I mean, granted, I think it tastes like garbage. I don't like the pop itself. I don't even really drink pop. I have more tea and coffee in my veins than anything else. But
the problem
Dr.
is
Pepper
that
came
you're
out.
saying that it's pop.
Yeah, well,
It's Coke.
I'm from up north where it gets cold, and if you leave a case of pop in your car overnight in the winter, you're going to find out why we
It'll
call it
pop.
pop. Yeah, you'd be
Gotcha.
scraping it off your ceilings. But Dr. Pepper came out and said, we don't care what the mandate is. We will not force any of our employees to take the jab. If you want it, go get it, fine. But if you don't worry about it. We will handle any legal ramifications that come of it. So they're willing to pay the several thousands of dollars of fines per employee to keep our own medical freedom. So props to Dr. Pepper. Now, hopefully they can fix the taste.
Yeah, absolutely. So there's also talk that Biden wants to sue the state of Texas, sue Abbott over him, creating.
How many times how many times has that been successful for him? Like, this must be the 15th time that Biden or one of his administration hot dogs has like actually gone after a state and lost. It's not going to happen.
Well, one question I have about the whole Texas state, no businesses, no entity, does that also mean the federal government? Because the federal government is an entity. And he said no entity can cause forced jab, right? So, I mean, I don't have the article in front of me. I didn't even read it, to be honest with you. So it's just kind of news to me. That's why I asked. Because I remember they said the word entity. And so do they consider the federal government an entity? Are the folks in Texas going to get a reprieve because Abbott stepped up and said, hey, I have enough balls to lead my state? Or am I just, smacking my veins with some hopium here?
Just
yeah,
look at,
I mean,
look at
hey, what about the
Biden.
military? The military bases in Texas, does that include them?
I don't know. All I have to say about that is look at how Florida has been dealing with it. DeSantis has like stepped up and held his ground the entire time, and nobody in Florida has felt like they are getting any worse for the wear right now.
So
Absolutely.
to answer your military base thing, those are considered federal territory and they're under federal regulation. So now the state, like the state National Guard, has a joint ownership with the federal government, oversight with state leadership. So that's kind of a gray area. But for like actual military bases, Army, Navy, Coast Guard, Air Force, and Marines, those are federal.
Okay, good to know.
All right, can we get on with this because I really need to pee.
Yes, we can.
Next on Spiff Force Live.
I'm not going into the bathroom with my camera. Don't worry, guys.
So yeah, we've got Intel, which is a top 50 Fortune company, who has said that they will not mandate the vaccine for their employees, which is huge. Then we also have Kyrie Irwin of the Brooklyn Nets, who was on his way to a great career and probably spent his whole life preparing for this, and has said, no, I'm not getting the jab. And they told him that he cannot even practice with the team. And even though he might be able to play without having a jab at away games against other teams, they said, no, if you don't get the jab, you can't play at all. So he's completely benched. But mad respect for him for standing up. We need to see more of this.
I
We're
mean,
seeing a lot more. I mean, the whole point of this is we are seeing the resistance. I mean, we've got to have mass resistance to win this. So
the pushback the NBA is getting is they're not even letting their unvaxxed players leave the hotel for like the meet and greets or any of the, networking and marketability type of parties and stuff that they have after games or whenever they go to new areas. So they're shutting out their unvaxxed players completely. So for him to take a stand like this publicly, props to him, man. That's great.
yep.
Yeah, obviously, Xi Jinping didn't get to him early enough. Give him some money. What do I know about NBA? What else we have?
Well, we have a story that I have unfortunately not had much time to look into, but it's a pretty big deal. So we had a father in a viral video of school board arrests who he was going up in Loudoun County, Virginia, speaking out against what's going on in the schools, and they tried to shut him up because he wanted to bring up the fact that his I think 15-year-old daughter, I'm not sure how old she was raped in the school bathroom by a tranny boy, or I guess he didn't say he said he was gender fluid, and he went into the bathroom she was in and raped her, rape kit and everything, and they tried to shut up this dad when he tried to speak out in a school board meeting.
They arrested him for speaking out. They arrested the father,
Yes,
for speaking out about his daughter or son, daughter, right?
his daughter was raped. Yeah,
His daughter was raped.
I won't even read the description about it because it's awful.
None of the MSM is covering this at all right now. Loudoun County, the school supervisor knew this and let it go. And nobody on the fucking mainstream media is talking about this. This is what we call a travesty.
Well, they even lied. I don't know if it was someone in the school or it must have been like one of the administrators was asked, are there issues with rape in these bathrooms? And he said, no, there's not at all. I mean, they totally lied about it.
That's what Target said back in the day when they were like, yeah, we're going to let, anybody go into any bathroom. Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
There's absolutely no accountability whatsoever in this fucking day and age.
So I have a problem with a couple parts of this, right? So first of all, gender fluid, right? It's supposed to be a construct, like a social construct. You can pick whatever gender you want because it's socially acceptable. But if it's a social construct,
you can be a Dearborn if you want.
Right. But if it's a social construct, why do you need surgery? And
well, the gender fluidity means that sometimes he feels like a boy and sometimes he feels like a girl. That's right. What this kid said he had. Yeah.
Right. The social construct, they can decide at any time how they feel. Right. So, but you need surgery. That's the issue. To really change your gender, and even then, it's not a change of gender. It's just a change of your outward organs. But the biggest issue I see in all of this, and maybe I'm just a disgruntled dad hearing this because I got daughters, and I'm gonna tell you now, they'd arrested me too. Sorry, I almost said a swear.
You can go for it, man.
So
I've been cursing up a storm tonight.
Who in the right mind thinks it's okay, first of all, a school to be sexualizing our children, right? When a 10-year-old or an 8-year-old or whatever comes home and they all of a sudden say, well, my son wants to be a girl because he plays with dolls. First of all, that's picking a gender for them, or because they follow the social stereotypes of what they consider female. But you can't say that's female because that's not gender fluid. But they're sexualizing children, and now it's become physical acts of harm and assault, and all this really just dark, decrepit crap in the left or the institutions that have been infiltrated by our opposition. I'll just put it that way. They want this. They want to sexualize kids because then that'll normalize their own mental discrepancies and their own crazy crap that we're fighting against. So kudos to that dad. I hope he raises hell while he's in jail, and I hope whenever they let him out that he goes right back to that school board and doesn't stop, that he's not going to be quiet, that his daughter's honor and dignity mean more to him than just a few days of eating bologna and a couple of days of no freedom. So kudos to him. I hope she's okay. And on that, I'll step down.
Bologna's
okay.
okay.
That pisses me off.
Yeah.
Bologna tastes all right.
As long as it's on white bread with mayonnaise. So yeah, we've got one more major topic, but there's a lot of different stories on it, and that is J6, January 6th. There's been a lot that's come out in the past few weeks, few days this week, regarding January 6th, and a lot of it is whistleblower stuff, and the expose stuff was just what we really need to hear, because we've got to end this all. So we had a high-ranking U.S. Capitol Police officer who he left the force a few months after January 6th, and he's come forward as a whistleblower against two senior leaders. One was the acting police chief at the time, and the other was just under her. And he is saying that basically they acted in a way that was willfully causing more violence, not stopping anything, didn't send anyone down. Just sat back and watched as the Capitol Police, had to deal with what was going on, and didn't do a thing, didn't lift a finger. And that they were doing it not only willfully that way, but they also were doing it to enhance their careers. Yeah, that's pretty ugly. And wrote this letter, this whistleblower letter, to Congress and sent it to Congress. So we've got that. We also had a reminder that the GOP chose a fancy retreat getaway. I think it was at Amelia Island.
That's in Georgia.
It's in Georgia, yes. I've been there. They chose that over going to January 6th in the Capitol, where Trump, who was their president at the time, had asked them to come and let's help stop this election steal. And they just completely blew that off and went and had their little January 6th through 8th retreat at Amelia Island instead. They'd already written them off, probably before the election.
I don't know. January is a great time to come and visit the coastline
of
Georgia.
Beach time.
Great beach time. That's when you
definitely not when I would choose to go to the beach.
That's when you get in your Euro trousers. You know what I'm talking about? Like, it's not really trousers at all. It's like cut to length, I guess. But yeah, I'm so dead tired. I'm sorry, guys.
Yeah, I can tell you're kind of getting goofy.
I'm amazed.
And then we also found out that the chairman of this special session who's doing the investigations on the insurrection, Georgia Representative Benny Thompson, he was a part of a group, a secessionist group, back in, I think, like 1969, somewhere around there, called the Republic of New Africa, the RNA. They were part of some kind of protest, and it ended up with some stuff going on, a cop getting killed and an FBI agent being injured, and he was all about it. He was all about, the law enforcement was horrible. They did this, they did that, blah blah blah. So now he's part of this, where it's the same kind of thing going on. He also sued President Trump for the results of January 6th. But then when he was slated to chair this special session, he withdrew his lawsuit. So he's definitely a good guy heading up this session we got going on.
I don't know. He called my house one day and was like, "Would you vote for me? I want to change all of your guy parts into girl parts." And I said,
"Is that right? Right. I think you're loopy.
No.
I think you're loopy."
Are we done yet?
Yeah, I think we are. But you know, I mean, when it comes down to it, you know, I do hope we're moving forward and we're getting a lot of stuff being brought to the light with what's going on, and I hope more and more people are becoming aware. But you can, you know, I want everybody to know that there's ways that you can actively, you know, be a part of this, and one is to write to our political prisoners. There is a website, patriotmailproject.com, where you can get all the information so you can write to them. You know, it's really important. I mean, these people are being held without charges. They're being abused. It's bad. It's horrific what's going on. Completely unconstitutional, and I hope you guys will consider doing that. patriotmailproject.com.
So the Patriot Mail Project is amazing. They have a whole list of the addresses of everybody that's being prosecuted for J6, whether they're locked up in the DC gulag or if they're out on bond. They also have listings of all of their donation pages for those that have fundraisers. They even have a pre-made cards that if you don't have time to write a letter, but you want to send a card and maybe put a quick personal message on the back, and it all shows each of them hope. Myself, I've actually received a few in the mail as well for people writing in to show support for our J6ers. And so, I mean, mad kudos and mad respect for Marie and all of them that are working with the PMP. They also have a page here on Telegram that goes by the title PMP, the Patriot Mail Project. So, yeah, it's great. It's a great way to get some information on how to help them out and how to hear about their stories and to give them a little bit of hope. So hope everybody participates.
Yeah, and Pi, tell us about your hashtag Sing for Freedom campaign, because it's near and dear to my heart, and I participate in it nightly. But you've done a great job with this, and I know you want to get it out there as much as possible. So why don't you share that with us?
Right. So long time ago, when I say long time ago, I mean like maybe 2 months or so, there was a news article put out how the January 6 inmates that are locked up in DC actually sing the national anthem every night at 9. And God spoke to my heart and said that if they can still show the resolve of love of nation, even though it is our government that is, putting their thumb down on them, and there's actually administrators within that jail that are being charged and sued for violating their civil rights. They violated the Nelson Mandela Act by keeping people in solitary confinement for extended periods of time that are actually against the law. It becomes torture after a certain point. So God spoke to my heart and said that we need to have people stand in solidarity with them. I am a J6er. I am under federal indictment. I have 10 charges coming from Uncle Sam for me being at the Capitol, and I was awarded bond. So I'm going to use the little bit of freedom that I have to ask folks to stand in solidarity with them and sing the national anthem every day, or even just once, and post a video. I have a page on Telegram where you can post them, or you can post it anywhere on any social media. You don't even have to come to us. Just use the hashtag Sing for Freedom and videotape yourself singing the national anthem. If you don't want to show your face, videotape a picture of your flag or a picture of your neighbor's tree or whatever. Just stand in solidarity and sing the national anthem. And our J6ers see them. There's family members, wives, husbands of those that are being prosecuted and persecuted. They take in their devices and they show them the videos of people singing. I've received letters of thanks from some of the families for submitting a lot of the videos to show. Joan, I can't thank you enough. You've been submitting a video every day for the last couple months, nonstop, and it definitely goes a long way to give them hope. I think his name is Fitzsimmons, one of the J6ers that is locked up. He wrote some letters back out to people, and he's even asked others that are out here to sing a song for freedom for them, because they are in there singing not only for themselves, but they're singing for us. They want to express love of country and show freedom. So please, folks, if you're listening, participate, spread it worldwide, get the national anthem, which is a symbol of freedom, out there to show that you're standing in solidarity, because nobody's talking about it. Nobody mentions it. The news says that everybody that was at January 6th is just a zealot, white supremacist, neo-Nazi, racist, hateful, just monster. They're labeling grandma a terrorist, but BLM, who burnt down cities across our nation, they offered the Nobel Peace Prize. Like, that should wake some people up. So, hashtag sing the number 4, freedom, sing for freedom. Get it out there. Show folks that you're not afraid to say you love your country before patriotism becomes a dangerous thought, according to George Orwell. So thank you for what you guys are doing. Just keep it up. Y'all are rocking it. And yeah, hopefully we can bring some attention to January 6th. And plus it'll help revive patriotism. We need that. Folks are afraid to say they even love their country anymore. So get out there in public and just scream it at the top of your lungs.
Yeah, what more do we need to know? That we have fellow patriots in prison simply because they wanted to fight for our country.
And the government's not
it's not
giving
like
evidence. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, but they're not giving evidence.
They're not doing anything.
They're not. And people unfortunately are choosing to plea down and take misdemeanors to avoid getting the federal charges, which they can't even prove anyway. So,
well, I mean, it's either that or you have to break a hand just to get a judge's attention. It's insane, you know. So we just need to be loud about this. And God bless everybody who's still in prison right now, and those who are awaiting trial.
I'm going to be singing every single day until they're freed or until I join them. And that just means I'm going to have a lot of practice to sing it while I'm in there too, because the government can't silence us. They can censor us, they can lock us up, but they can't silence us. And as a whole, they can't silence this nation. They're going to end up waking a sleeping giant, because when you start going after patriots, then who's next? The next person that doesn't agree with the Rachel Maddow narrative.
It's the whole thing. You know, first they came for the unionists, and I didn't care about the unionists, so I didn't do anything. And then they came for me because no one was there to stand up for me.
And the national anthem is a great way to protest, because right now, the way that our country sees things, you can't jail somebody or harm somebody for singing the national anthem. But right now, it is a way to protest. It is a way to stand up against that narrative.
They tried to. Remember all of the things last year about people having their American flags outside?
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Do you remember? They were testing the waters with, it's unpatriotic to wave the American flag outside your domicile.
I mean, the government archives have labeled the Constitution as harmful material. They give you a warning before reading the Constitution now. Careful, this might endanger or it might give you some free thoughts.
Yeah.
Wow.
You guys be careful out there.
Yes.
So, Pi, you are a godsend. I pray that you have many days with us here.
Yes.
I also I'm going to try to wrap up the show because I'm about to turn into a pumpkin head.
Yes.
So I want to thank everybody that is here live tonight. We in case you came in and you're like, what in the world is going on? We had really big and aggressive plans tonight that didn't necessarily fall through. Hopefully
they did fall through.
And they all fell through. Yeah. Hopefully by next week we'll have a more solid plan. But thank you anyway for joining us. I don't know what else to say. JoanUp, you want to say something? Bring us out.
No, I want to say thanks, Pi, for joining us as a third to make this a little more interesting. I enjoy your input and your witty, clever remarks. It was fun, guys. Thanks, Spiff.
Hey, I just want to say thanks for having me, folks. I'm glad I could whip it up with you guys for a little bit. And get involved locally. That's a big thing. You guys are out here and you're speaking truth to those that are around you, and hopefully that can give the example to others to go out there and speak truth. Get involved locally. Check out. I'm gonna throw a shameless plug out here just because he's my boy, Enoch's Green Dragon. That is the epitome of getting involved locally. You can meet up with your local patriots and go out there and just show that we're not alone, right? We're not isolated to some little Telegram room or to some one little page on Facebook. And don't worry, you guys are going to be on D Live and Twitch and all the other platforms. Spread your stuff. I'm glad I could come here and mess everything up for you guys by being a third wheel. It's been a blast. Check out Sing for Freedom. Check out Spiff Force Live next week. I promise I won't be here to mess you guys up this time. But also check out
buddy,
Enoch's Green
you
Dragon.
kept us afloat. You kept us afloat.
You kept us together.
Thank you all. And patriots, for God and country, we
For
fight.
humanity. We got to do something.